planetary winds. Before that, planetary winds again, we are going to see that how these winds are. Okay, so there are three types of winds. One is planetary winds, which blow throughout the earth throughout the year with which blow throughout the year in a same direction are called planetary winds. These are three types, my dear students, subtypes in the planetary winds. One is trade winds. Trade winds, you know, those trade winds blow from subtropical high pressure belt to subtropical low pressure, equatorial low pressure belt. This is what you call trade winds instead. Trade winds blow from subtropical high pressure belt to the low pressure belt, equatorial low pressure belt. Those are called trade winds instead. So here these trade winds blow in a particular direction. Look at here, these are the trade winds in north. Wait, what it is? Trade winds blowing in a northern hemisphere or northeast trade winds, and trade winds blowing in a southern hemisphere are called southeast trade winds. Dear students, look at this diagram. It is what I want to show here. This is the southeast trade winds, and these are northeast trade winds. So these winds are blowing from subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial low pressure belt. See, subtropical high pressure belt to, this is subtropical high pressure belt here, from subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial low pressure belt instead. Those winds are called trade winds. So in a northern hemisphere, they are blowing from northeast direction, so they are called northeast trade winds. And in southern hemisphere, they are blowing from southeast direction, so they are called what you call southeast trade winds. You know, this is north direction, south direction, east, west. And what is this direction? This is the direction what you call as southeast, right? And uh, this is the direction. This is the direction we call. Just I'm giving arrow marker. Look at. Check. This is yes, that is northeast trade wind. The arrows, you see that blue arrows which are shown here. Okay, those are northeast trade winds instead. So these trade winds blow from subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial low pressure belts. It is one type in planetary winds. Then second is westerlights, and these westerlights blow from temperate belt and polar winds in polar belt instead. See here in the diagram, it is a prevailing westerlights is given. Okay, these are, dear students, some what to call subtropical high pressure belt, from subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt. Look at this. This is what subpolar low pressure belt and subtropical high pressure belt. So winds blowing from subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt. Subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt. Those winds are called westerlies. We call them westerlies. lies. Understand? They blow from the subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt in the north and hemisphere, and same in southern hemisphere also. Subtropical high pressure belt to polar subpolar low pressure belt. These winds blow. Those are called westerlies instead. And last we see that polar high pressure belt, polar winds instead. Polar winds. This is the what polar winds which blow from the east direction from polar high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt. Okay, this is the what polar easter lights blowing from polar high pressure belt to subpolar polar high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt instead. Those are in the direction of east instead. In the direction of east, they are blowing. So we call it polar easter lights instead. So there are the three types of winds in what you call planetary winds instead. So here, what you call these winds are very useful. Let's see that effects of planetary winds. We have noted that pressure and wind systems, okay, atmospheric pressure and wind systems, those are the impact of a lithosphere and a hydrosphere on atmosphere. That is lithosphere in the sense what we call land part, right? And what you call hydrosphere, it is related to water. So there is the impact of lithosphere and hydrosphere on atmosphere causes pressure and wind systems. These winds play very important role in transporting heat and moisture across the world. You know, we already discussed that winds blow from high pressure belt to low pressure belt. So when winds blowing from high pressure belt to low pressure belt, along with that the heat and moisture, that is humidity, which is prevailed in atmosphere, is transported by the blowing winds. Okay, so that we see that no part of the world will become too cold or too hot, which not suitable for life. Instead, throughout the earth, we see that heat and moisture is distributed by the blowing winds. So that is the effect of the planetary winds. As the planetary winds blow across the planet Earth, they distribute heat and moisture throughout the world so that all the parts of the earth will not get too hot and too cold instead. So if these winds does not blow, what would happen? Some part of the earth we see very hot and other part of the earth is very cold, right? So that it is not suitable for life. But today, we people are surviving on the earth because of the winds. The winds are playing very important role in transporting heat and moisture instant. So, what to call here? The we see that the polar regions are different instant. What to call in the polar region due to the less insolation, there we see it is too cold instead. So it is not a suitable place for living there. Understand? So winds do not distribute heat or moisture uniformly. Understand? Which is why some parts of the earth are quite hot and some parts cooler, and some parts with high rainfall, and some are which are deserts instead. There are many factors, the vegetation cover on the land, and the soil type, moisture in the soil, eh, and the industries there. So, like these several factors will influence the heat and moisture of a place. So, any part of the world do not be same in the heat and moisture. It means winds distribute heat and moisture throughout Earth, but they do not distribute heat and moisture uniformly. Keep in mind. So this is the water planetary winds and its effects. Understand? Next is seasonal winds. Second type of winds are seasonal winds. Understand? Seasonal winds are those which change according to the season. Okay. In our India, we can see the seasonal winds, the rainfall, which we get every time in the month of June. After the summer season, we get rainfall. Understand? So the rainfall in India is occurring due to the seasonal winds. Okay, all factors in our country are related to the monsoons. Dear students, monsoon is an English word. It is derived from Arabic word mausam. Okay, what is monsoon? Rhythmic change of seasons along with change in the direction of the winds. So, dear students, here we see that in rainy season the winds blow from the southwest direction in India. Okay, and by winter season we see winds blow what you call from the northeast direction. Okay, that is winter. So 6 months period we see that winds blowing in India are what you call this direction. Understand? Uh, what we call it is uh, that is a seasonal winds. They change according to the season. Just a minute. This is the thing. What is happening? So seasonal winds are those which change according to the season. Understand? So, dear students, here we see that these winds are taking place as the seasons change, right? So, in a particular direction, they blow. That is southwest direction for 6 months, another 6 months in northeast direction. So, such winds are called seasonal winds instead. So, these monsoons, the existence of the monsoon, it is due to the difference in the cooling of land and sea. One factor we discussed, that is land and water absorb and release the heat in different manner, right, in different ratio. That means land absorbs very fast and becomes fast very cool than the water bodies. So there is a difference in the absorption of heat and becoming cool by the land and water. So due to the differential cooling of land and sea, there is a formation of monsoons. In summer, listen very carefully. In summer, we see northwestern India, understand, which it is a northwestern part of India, that is in Rajasthan, right? There it develops what to call a low pressure belt, understand, right? There is a low pressure belt is developed on what to call in India, that is north what to call western part of India, that is here, understand, this part it is a low pressure belt, understand, in the summer, right? That is the northwestern part of India. And so that the southeast trade winds which are coming from a southeast direction, the winds which come from southeast direction will reach to the India by deflecting towards southwest. Actually, winds blow from the southeast direction, but after crossing the equator, these southeast winds will change its direction to southwest due to the Coriolis effect. Understand? So southeast trade winds, after crossing the equator, they become southwest monsoon as a result of Coriolis effect. Due to the earth rotation, one energy is generated that is called Coriolis effect, right? So this Coriolis effect deflects southeast trade winds when they cross equator into the southwest direction. So the southwest monsoons over Indian Peninsula and other neighboring countries will blow. That is in the summer. Understand? That means in summer in India we see that from the southwest directions the wind blow. Understand? Dear students, in which direction? Southwest direction. Understand? So here we see that this is the water. Here you can see that here they blow what to call in southeast direction. Understand? First southeast, then after converted to southwest after crossing the equator. That is in the summer season. Understand? So when it becomes winter, then these winds will become reverse. That is, it blow from northeast trade winds after crossing the equator. Let me show you, right? Here it is passed in what to call this direction, dear students, southwest directions. Okay, in the summer, right? And in winter, you see that it is in northeast direction. This is in winter. So what do you see here? The wind's direction is changed so that the seasons are changed. So seasons are occurring as the wind's direction is changed. So that these are called seasonal winds. Understand? Is it clear to you all? Then third type of winds, local winds. Understand? Another third type of winds, that is local winds. Local winds blow due to the local variation in the temperature and pressure, which are confined to a smaller area. Some particular reasons will influence the temperature of the local area, and they result in for local winds. Instead, here local winds are called with different names in different areas. Hot local winds raise the temperature of a place, my dear students. For example, in a place, the temperature is there. When hot wind is blowing from another area to one particular area, there the temperature will increase. So hot local winds raises the temperature. Okay, vice versa. That means cold local winds will bring down the temperature, right? So in this way we see that there will be change of the temperatures by the local winds. Instead, these local winds blow in lower layer of the troposphere. They do not blow in all the layers of atmosphere. Only in troposphere at lower layer we find these local winds. Instead, so the mountains and the valley breezes and sea breezes, land breezes are some of the examples of the local winds. Instead, here it is, dear students. I'll show you that these are what see, these are the water winds. What to call local winds? Some examples for local winds are given here. Understand? Mountain breeze, valley breezes, hmm? sea breezes, land breezes. These are the water, some types of local winds. Understand? And these local winds will what to call these winds respond to the local pressure gradients. What in by pressure gradient? Pressure change, okay, which is set up by heating and cooling of the lower atmosphere. When there is a change in the atmosphere lower layer due to the heating and cooling systems, then there the local winds will form. So different local winds we see here. There are two types of local winds, my dear students. That is hot local winds and cold local winds. Instead, hot local winds will raise the temperature. Cold local winds will reduce the water temperature. These are the what hot local winds. Instead, so hot local winds, some examples are given here. Chinook. Chinook is one hot local wind which blow in America. Okay, they move down at Rocky Mountains in USA and Canada. Okay, this is in the North America. And here, many people believe that Chinook is a word which means snow eater. The people, they believe that Chinook means it is a snow eater, right? But actually, Chinook is the name of one Native American tribe. Some tribal people, sorry, some tribal people are living in America are called Chinook. That is the name of one tribe which is living in North America. That is the actual name. Okay, so this name applied for the hot winds blowing in that area. Understand? So what happens, here in the regions where these winds are blowing, hot winds are blowing in this region of North America, there they called with that tribe name Chinook. It keeps the grasslands cleared of snow during most of the winter. Understand? Look at, my dear students, I'll show you. These are the what Rocky Mountains in the figure shown. Okay, I'll show you just a minute. It is Rocky Mountains shown here, right, in the North America. So what happens here, when these hot winds, blow, we see that they bring what to call change in the moisture of the grasslands. Instead, here we see that the snow which is on the grass is removed by the hot winds blowing in Rocky Mountain areas. Understand? So that as the snow is what to call removed, people called it snow eater as Chinook in their language. But actually, Chinook is the name of one local tribe. Understand? And similar to this hot wind Chinook, which is blowing in the Rocky Mountains of USA and Canada, in Europe too, there is one hot wind that is what you call phone, not our mobile phone. Okay, it is phone. Okay, look at the spelling of the phone. 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 They blow these phone hot winds. They blow in Alp Mountains, the northern slope of the Alp Mountains. And these phone hot winds melts the snow and makes the weather clear and pleasant for ripening of the grapes in Europe. Okay, if the snowfall takes place in Europe, that will become disturbance to the ripening of the grapes. So there, these hot winds form as they blow from the slope of the half mountains. They remove the snow and keeps the weather pleasant, suitable for ripening of the grapes. So Fohn is a hot wind blowing in Europe. Then Chinook is a hot wind blowing in USA, Canada, at Rocky Mountains. Instead, there are hot winds blowing in India are called Lu. Lu is one hot wind blowing in our India. These are hot and dry winds. They blow in the northern India from west to east. In the month of May and June, the temperature is high in India, North India especially. So there the low pressure belt will form, right? So there we see from west to east, from western part of India to the eastern part of India, hot winds blow from the west part to eastern part in the northern plains. So that increases the high temperatures already prevailed in northern plains in the month of May and June. So that we listen, many times we listened in the newspaper, many people died due to the sunstroke. Understand? So this is the what Lu, which is a hot wind blowing in India. Understand? Then some other hot winds also there which blow in different parts of the world. Simon. Simon is a hot wind blowing in what to call Arabian desert. Yoma is a hot wind blowing in Japan. Understand? Nor'wester is hot wind blowing in New Zealand. These are the some examples of the hot winds, my dear students. 3 minutes left. So next is cold winds. Mistral is a cold wind. Understand? This blow from the Alps over the France towards the Mediterranean Sea. Understand? From the France through Alp mountains, it blow towards the Mediterranean Sea. That is Mistral, cold wind. And this is channeled. It blow through the Rhone Valley. Understand? And this is a very cold and dry wind. Puna, it is also cold wind, blows in Andes region, that is South America. Pampiro, it is also cold polar winds. They blow in the South America. They are called pampas. So these are the what different cold winds blowing in different parts of the wind. So today's